Did you know that Burt Lancaster actually began his performing career in a circus act? That's right. Before he became one of Hollywood's greatest leading men, Lancaster was an acrobat, captivating audiences with his physical prowess long before he ever stepped onto a film set. This knack for athleticism and showmanship would later translate into dynamic performances on screen, turning him into a legendary presence known for his captivating smile, strong on-screen charisma, and willingness to take on complex, sometimes controversial roles. Throughout a career spanning over 4 decades, Lancaster showed that he wasn't just a handsome face. He was a versatile actor, unafraid to tackle morally challenging or deeply emotional characters. From epic period pieces to gritty film noir, he left an indelible mark on Hollywood cinema. In today's video, we'll be counting down the top 10 best Burt Lancaster movies. Ready to discover or rediscover some absolute classics that show just how unstoppable this towering star really was. Let's jump right in. Kicking off our list at number 10 is The Killers from 1946, Lancaster's explosive film debut. Have you ever thought about how a single role can catapult an actor to instant stardom? That's exactly what happened here. Based on a short story by Ernest Hemingway, this film noir classic opens with 2 hitmen arriving in a small town to kill a former boxer known as the Swede, played by Lancaster. Even in this first performance, he radiates a raw intensity that makes it impossible to look away. The role is drenched in fatalism and moral complexity, emblematic of the noir genre. Audiences at the time were mesmerized by Lancaster's commanding presence, and critics lauded him as a new leading man to watch. The Killers effectively laid the foundation for the robust, multifaceted career that was to follow. If you're fascinated by moody, atmospheric crime stories, or you love seeing a star's very first taste of fame, then add this early gem to your watch list. It's an enthralling introduction to Burt Lancaster's talents, and a classic slice of film noir history. Next up is Judgment at Nuremberg from 1961, a courtroom drama that dives headfirst into the aftermath of World War II. Boasting an ensemble cast including Spencer Tracy, Marlene Dietrich, and Montgomery Clift, the film explores the trials of Nazi judges accused of war crimes. Lancaster appears as Dr. Ernst Janning, a high-ranking judge who must come to terms with his own complicity in the horrors of the regime. Though he's in a supporting role, his portrayal is poignant, revealing a tormented figure grappling with guilt, shame, and the burdens of responsibility. Judgment at Nuremberg remains a crucial film for its unflinching look at justice and accountability, and Lancaster's contribution adds depth to an already loaded narrative. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest performances aren't about heroic characters, but about flawed individuals who reflect the painful complexities of real-world events. At number 8, we shift gears to 7 Days in May, 1964, a gripping political thriller directed by John Frankenheimer. Starring Lancaster as General James Mattoon Scott, the film centers on a plot to overthrow the U.S. president during a time of Cold War tension. Lancaster steps into the role of a charismatic and forceful general who believes he must save America from the perceived threat of nuclear disarmament. What makes this film so compelling is the clash between Lancaster's resolute General Scott and Kirk Douglas's Colonel Casey, who uncovers the conspiracy. The tension is heightened by Lancaster's ability to exude both patriotism and authoritarian menace, making viewers wonder if he's driven by noble conviction or dangerously misguided ambition. While 7 Days in May is very much a product of its era, when nuclear anxiety ran high, it remains surprisingly relevant today, raising questions about how easily fear can undermine democratic institutions. If you crave a sharp, dialogue-driven thriller that showcases Burt Lancaster in a morally ambiguous role, 7 Days in May is one you can't afford to miss. Landing at number 7, Atlantic City, 1980, represents something of a career renaissance for Lancaster. Directed by the great Louis Malle, this film sees Lancaster as Lou Pascal, an aging, small-time gangster who's clinging to the vanished glamour of a bygone era. Ever wonder what happens to the old-school hustlers when the city changes around them? Atlantic City explores exactly that. While casinos and urban renewal reshape the boardwalk, Lou tries to reinvent himself by getting involved in a drug deal. The film also co-stars Susan Sarandon, who plays a young woman caught up in Lou's ambitions. Lancaster's performance brims with melancholy and vulnerability, earning him an Oscar nomination and signaling to the world that he was still very much a force to be reckoned with. Many fans were amazed to discover a softer, more contemplative side to Lancaster, who conveys equal parts regret, longing, and stubborn pride. The mix of gritty realism and bittersweet reflection makes Atlantic City an understated gem, a story about changing times, second chances, and the illusions we cling to. If you want to see Burt Lancaster in a late-career triumph that proves he never lost his star power, this is it. Taking the 6th spot is Gunfight at the OK Corral, a classic 1957 Western that pairs Burt Lancaster with Kirk Douglas. Lancaster plays the legendary lawman Wyatt Earp, while Douglas takes on the role of the iconic Doc Holliday. Directed by John Sturges, it focuses on the build-up to the infamous gunfight in Tombstone, Arizona, one of the most legendary events in the Old West. Lancaster portrays Earp as a man of principle, steady and stoic, while Douglas's Holliday is his unpredictable, morally ambiguous counterpart. The chemistry between the two leads is electric. They embody the stark contrasts yet necessary alliance between lawman and outlaw. Critics praised Lancaster for bringing nuanced depth to an often romanticized character. And if you're a fan of Westerns, you know how pivotal Wyatt Earp's stories are to the genre's mythos. Gunfight at the OK Corral became a box office hit and remains a must-watch for anyone curious about the golden age of Western cinema. With Lancaster's commanding presence and Douglas's roguish charm, it's hard not to be swept away by this timeless tale of grit and gunsmoke. At number 5, we have The Leopard, 1963, an Italian epic directed by Luchino Visconti. If you appreciate lush cinematography, sweeping historical backdrops, and deeply human stories about societal transformation, then The Leopard should jump straight to the top of your watch list. Burt Lancaster plays Prince Don Fabrizio Cellina, an aristocrat witnessing the upheaval that followed Italy's unification in the 1860s. Have you ever seen a performance so refined that you momentarily forget you're watching an American actor in an Italian costume drama? Lancaster effortlessly disappears into the role, projecting both the quiet resignation of a man watching his world change and the regal dignity of old-world nobility. Critics and fans alike often cite The Leopard as one of the most visually stunning and artistically significant films of the 1960s, filled with opulent set designs and a famously grand ball sequence that exemplifies the end of an era. Though his casting initially sparked some skepticism among European audiences, Lancaster's performance silenced doubters, earning praise for its nuanced portrayal of a proud yet melancholy aristocrat. If you enjoy period dramas that immerse you in a transformative moment in history, The Leopard offers an unforgettable experience, complete with Burt Lancaster at his most majestic. Landing at number 4 is Birdman of Alcatraz, 1962, a film that shows Lancaster's incredible capacity for empathy and introspection. He portrays Robert Stroud, a real-life inmate who, while serving a life sentence in solitary confinement, becomes a self-taught ornithologist and gains a form of redemption through caring for birds. Lancaster's calm determination as Stroud offers viewers a compelling look at how knowledge, kindness, and obsession can intertwine, even behind bars. The role was a daring choice at a time when prison stories often focused on brutality and rebellion, but Birdman of Alcatraz leans into emotional complexity instead. Audiences were deeply moved by Lancaster's portrayal, and he was rewarded with an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. The real Robert Stroud was, by all accounts, a complicated man, and the film doesn't shy away from his darker traits. Still, it's Lancaster's ability to reveal a spark of humanity in a life seemingly beyond hope that resonates most strongly. If you appreciate stories of redemption and personal transformation, this is a performance you shouldn't pass up. Stepping onto the number 3 spot is The Sweet Smell of Success, 1957, a riveting exploration of power, ambition, and moral compromise in the world of New York's gossip columnists. Burt Lancaster stars as J.J. Hunsaker, a ruthless and manipulative newspaper kingpin who'll do anything to retain control over his circle of influence. Ever been fascinated by how easily success can corrupt? This film dives right into that theme, presenting a cutthroat media landscape where careers are made or broken on a single word from men like Hunsaker. Lancaster's portrayal is chilling. He offers a cool, calculated presence that exudes authority. Tony Curtis co-stars as Sidney Falco, a desperate press agent who's even more dangerously ambitious. The tension between them is electric, illustrating a toxic dance of power and subservience. Critics hailed the film's sharp dialogue, dark cinematography, and scathing social commentary. Lancaster's performance as Hunsaker is especially unforgettable. He's the ultimate puppet master, an anti-hero whose charm can't quite mask his ruthless intentions. If you enjoy classics with a dash of noir and an unflinching look at how ambition can devour morality, don't miss The Sweet Smell of Success. Our runner-up is From Here to Eternity, 1953, a film that captured multiple Oscars and features one of cinema's most iconic beach scenes of all time. Lancaster plays Sergeant Milton Warden, stationed at a Hawaiian military base in the days leading up to the attack on Pearl Harbor. Deborah Kerr co-stars as Karen Holmes, the lonely wife of an officer, and together they share an unforgettable kiss in the crashing surf. Have you ever wondered why that single scene is referenced in almost every highlight reel of classic Hollywood romance? It's because Lancaster and Kerr's chemistry practically steams off the screen, even by today's standards. Beyond that famous scene, the film wrestles with issues of military hierarchy, infidelity, and personal honor. Montgomery Clift and Frank Sinatra also deliver remarkable performances, making this an ensemble powerhouse. Lancaster's role as Warden is both rugged and tender, showcasing the duality that he would become famous for in his career. The film also ignited Frank Sinatra's resurgence, earning him an Oscar. From Here to Eternity remains a staple in discussions of the best war-era dramas, blending romance, tragedy, and tension into a timeless narrative. If you haven't seen this classic yet, prepare to be swept away by the wave of emotion and Burt Lancaster's undeniable screen presence. Finally, at the top spot is Elmer Gantry, 1960, the film that earned Burt Lancaster his only Academy Award for Best Actor. Adapted from a novel by Sinclair Lewis, the movie follows Elmer Gantry, a fast-talking, charismatic drifter who joins forces with an evangelist named Sister Sharon Falconer, played by Gene Simmons. Ever been mesmerized by someone so persuasive you start to question your own beliefs? Gantry is that man, a slick salesman who uses religion to gain fame and fortune, yet teeters on the edge of moral collapse. Lancaster throws himself into the role, delivering fiery sermons and exuding a force of nature energy that's equal parts seductive and unsettling. Critics praised his performance for its intensity, while audiences couldn't look away from the spectacle of a man who might just believe his own con. Elmer Gantry dives into themes of faith, hypocrisy, and redemption, and Lancaster navigates these waters with a performance that's both larger than life and startlingly intimate. It's the kind of role that only comes around once in a great while, and Lancaster seizes it completely. For anyone who wants to see a master actor at the height of his talents and appreciate the storytelling power of classic Hollywood, this is the essential Burt Lancaster film. Looking back at these 10 standout movies, it's clear why Burt Lancaster remains a cinematic titan. From the film noir intensity of his breakout in The Killers to the larger-than-life portrayal in Elmer Gantry, he was an actor who refused to be pigeonholed. Whether galloping through Western showdowns, stirring our consciences in a courtroom, or wrestling with moral dilemmas in the political arena, Lancaster brought an imposing yet soulful presence to every role he chose. His willingness to take creative risks, inhabit flawed characters, and command scenes with an athletic grace made him a true Hollywood original. Even decades after these films first graced the silver screen, Lancaster's work continues to inspire new generations of film lovers and actors alike. He was a man who believed in the power of storytelling, the need for honest emotion, and the magic that happens when you give yourself entirely to a role. If you enjoyed our countdown of Burt Lancaster's top 10 best movies, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Which Burt Lancaster film do you love the most, and are there other hidden gems we didn't include? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to keep the conversation going. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our next thrilling movie countdown or film discussion. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more cinematic deep dives, Hollywood spotlights, and timeless movie magic. Until next time.